The Chevrolet Cruze Hatchback has finally come to America. While the first-generation Cruze offered both hatchback and wagon variants, they only went to those lucky ducks overseas. Although American drivers have historically been more interested in sedans, the U.S. car market is changing, with roughly 350,000 hatches being registered each year now. In offering the new Cruze Hatchback here, Chevrolet hopes to take a chunk of that market. Judging just from the exterior, the Cruze Hatch has a good chance of snagging some sales. The already handsome front end finally gets the tail it deserved, solving the stylistic problem with the Cruze sedan. Its trunk section looks a bit awkward and narrow compared to its low, wide nose. The hatch's wider, wraparound taillights and bumper-mounted license plate go a long way toward fixing that. The car also looks a bit more squat and athletic with its 7.4-inch shorter rear overhang. Despite the shorter overall length, the hatch retains the sedan's 106.3-inch wheelbase and its passenger interior dimensions. One item holding the Cruze Hatch, and, yes, the sedan, back from being fun to drive, is the automatic transmission. It shifts smoothly and quietly, but it's not quick by any measure. In full auto, shift times are relaxed, but switch to manual mode and the response to a gear request is painfully slow. We're talking multiple seconds in some instances. There are no shift paddles, with plus and minus buttons on the top of the shifter instead accepting orders. We're not entirely sure why Chevy even bothered adding manual shifting. Opting for the manual, like in the Lieutenant pictured here, improves things significantly. The shifter, while not world-class, does its job admirably, with easy-to-find gates. The clutch is light and easy to modulate, but the pedal travel is very long, and it lacks feel. However, the ability to quickly shift for yourself makes the experience much more enjoyable. As with the powertrain, words like refinement and smoothness come to mind more often than sporty when discussing the hatch's ride and handling. Both the Lieutenant and Premier models handle securely in corners, and do so without much body roll. Overall types of road surfaces, the car feels quite composed and soaks up bumps well without becoming floaty. The car is quiet, too, with the only exception being some pronounced road noise on some surfaces. However, the Cruze Hatch isn't eager to turn into corners, and the chassis certainly feels tuned to be safe and unflappable as opposed to agile and tail-happy. That isn't a bad thing, but, again, it's more of what we're used to with the sedan. The steering supports this feeling, due to a lack of feel. The electric power steering is weighted well, easy to use while not being overly light, but not much of anything comes through it. The good news is that the steering is nice and precise, making the Cruze easy to place on the road. Anyone pricing the comfort-oriented Cruze Hatch against its competitors will notice it seems more expensive, as well. That's in part because the hatch skips the L and LS trim levels available on the sedan and goes straight to Lieutenant and Premier. The Lieutenant hatch starts at $22,115, which is $1,090 more than a comparable four-door. Several of the Cruze Hatch's competitors, VW Golf, Subaru Impreza, Honda Civic, Ford Focus, and Mazda 3 all start under $21,000 with less equipment. Not offering a budget Cruze Hatch may drive buyers to other companies, but it could be Chevy's way of putting feelers out into the hatch market to see sales potential without fully commit. Or maybe the company hopes sedan shoppers will want the handsome hatch enough to pony up for it. If we were choosing a Cruze model, the hatchback would be the obvious pick. No, the 5-door isn't some exciting hot hatch, but it's just as pleasant to be in and drive as the sedan, with better looks and a more useful cargo area. So it fulfills the hatch promise without breaking new ground. Maybe we'll be a little more specific next time we ask a company to bring a hatchback to America.